This Tuesday morning edition of Pucks Across Borders on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. What's your favorite sport? Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, maybe wrestling, maybe even boxing. Whatever it is, get a sport card related to your favorite sport at firstroundcollectibles.com. And right now, with the promo code Sports Addict, you get 10% off whatever card your heart desires. They even have sales items up since the holidays, up to 50% off with our promo code. Not only do you get 10% off of normal priced items, but sales items as well. That's the promo code Sports Addict for 10% off regular priced and sales priced items. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today and find your heroes. That's the number one, STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Yeah, oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they...
Welcome to Pucks Across Borders on a Tuesday morning, starting a little bit later, but regardless, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports. I am Mark Sauter, and with me, you read his work about the NFL on Gridiron Heroics. You read his work on Winners and Whiners. You see him talk about all things sports on Total Apex Sports, football, basketball, both college and professionally. Andre, how you doing on a Tuesday morning, bro?
Doing great. It's sunny. Been up for a while. Been enjoying sports. Got some good news about Aaron Judge. I know that's not hockey. Rangers won a rivalry game last night. Put me to bed kind of happy. World's pretty nice right now. Can't complain. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. I don't get the Leafs until Thursday, which is at first you look at it and you're kind of like, man, I want to watch my team play, but then you're like, you know what? I get to watch the rest of these teams without the anxiety and the stress of watching my own team. And with the Leafs right now, it's just kind of status quo. They're in third in the Atlantic, not really moving up or down. So you know what, man? I get to enjoy the rest of the league and just wait until the playoffs come around. Not a ton to get into from last night, but a couple things. Before we get into the takeaways, I wanted to ask you, because you were watching that game, I wanted to ask you about the Matt Rempe hit, what your thoughts are on it, and what you think the suspension will be and what this means for him as a player and a spot on this roster. Is this something where if you're Matt Rempe playing yourself onto this team, can you afford to miss games? Like, is this guy still going to have a spot when the suspension's up? What were your thoughts on the hit and all the other nonsense that I just attached to the question?
Yeah, he's gonna get suspended. And he deserves it. He earned it. I don't think all of his hits were dirty leading up to it. He's had some bad ones, but I think part of it was his height, speed of the game, trying to make an impact, whatever. Can't really excuse what happened yesterday. He lifted his elbow up to his chin, took a run at him, left his feet. Dude's 6'7". Doesn't really need to do that. It's a shame, really, because he made a really good hockey play right before that. He screened Kakinen before the goal. He's been actually doing hockey things and looking like a valuable fourth liner while doing it. Like, he belongs in the NHL. He belongs on the ice. You can't play yourself off it though, and it seems like he's been doing that. He didn't fight. I don't even remember who it was. Someone on Devil's trying to fight him one night. He didn't do that. Okay, you don't have to accept every fight. I'm fine with that. If you're gonna hit people like that, if you're gonna play dirty, you got to answer the bell. You can't just wave people off as you're heading off the ice. Just distractions and immature stuff. The hit itself was obviously dirty. I hope he reels it in because I would like to see him in the playoffs. I think he adds to the team. Energy-wise, I think he's a valuable. I think he has contributed to the fourth line and made it better, genuinely. But you can't be doing stuff like that, and you can't get suspended in the playoffs. So we'll see. Hope he sticks around after this game. I hope he learns something from it. But it's not what you wanted to see as a Rangers fan.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, feeling like you're expected to fight, that's one thing, but a hit like that, it's unnecessary. And like you said, like I didn't watch it live, but you texted me saying he left his feet, and my first thought was the dude is almost 7 feet tall. What's he leaving his feet for? Like he's already like a foot taller than everybody. He doesn't need to leave his feet. But no, that's all well said. Good thoughts on that. We'll see. I'm hearing a lot of people saying anywhere between 2 and 5 games. But listen, with the Department of Player Safety, let's just call it what it is. Who knows? Like who knows how much this guy's going to get suspended? The standard it's very, very gray. And who knows? But we'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. Moving on to the games last night. Not too much in the form of takeaways. The biggest thing that I noticed, you had the Capitals playing, you had the Islanders playing, both teams fighting for a wild card spot or even catching up with the Flyers for third spot in the Met. And Tampa Bay didn't play last night. Detroit didn't play last night. Philly didn't play last night. So the perfect night to get some points and move up in the standings and not have to worry about the teams that you are chasing. Both teams lose and both teams don't even score a goal. I will say I actually watched both of these games, and the Washington Capitals, like I've watched a lot of Jets this year, and to me, that was one of, if not the best game that I've seen them play. Just super complete, tight defensively. I thought the Jets played outstanding. Yes, Hellebuck played well. 4th shutout for the year from him. But I just felt like the Jets didn't really give the Capitals the opportunity to get into the game. A couple penalties, but we know the Capitals power play is nothing to write home about this year. I never felt like that game was in jeopardy for the Jets, so much so that I took the -2.5 on when the game turned 1-0 for the Jets. I took the -2.5 because I just knew the Capitals were getting nothing last night, and it turned out to be correct. On the other side, I thought the Islanders played a very good game. I thought they played fine. I thought David Riddick, big save, Dave. I always want to say something else when I start that slogan, but I gotta reel myself in. But big save, Dave had a phenomenal game. They ended up getting shut out 3-0 as well. And the Kings do this, man. Like when the Kings play well, the Kings broadcast does a terrific job of showing you, and MSG did as well last night, just showing you the defensive structure from the Kings. Like when they're playing well, they're just, everybody is in the right spot. And so the Kings goaltending rounding back into form, Cam Talbot and Dave Riddick, And so, so from the Islanders standpoint, I thought they played very well last night. They ran into a good goalie, couldn't get the big save at the right time, but it doesn't matter how many saves you get. If you can't score, you're not going to win. But for the Capitals, I just felt like they were never in that game where the Islanders, they were only down 1-0 going into the third period. And so with that, Capitals don't get a point. Islanders don't get a point, and their advantage on the winning percentage is no longer. Detroit back up to second wild card, Tampa up to first, or staying at first rather. So didn't see anything happen in the or any progress rather happen for the East playoff race. And on the West side, the Kings get a very valuable 2 points, staying 2 points up on the Golden Knights and staying in third in the West. What about you? What was your takeaway from last night?
I should have listened to you. You told me about these Bruins. You said it's only against the Leafs. They're not doing it against anybody else. And I was like, no, I think they're starting to find something. They'd had one other game where they looked like that. They're at home. Blues aren't that good on the road. I think the Bruins it was the Penguins, which doesn't really help anybody. But the point being, you were right. The Bruins aren't what I thought they were. I should have listened to you. They got waxed on their home ice. And, well, I don't know, maybe let's antagonize some Bostonians here. I'm not scared of massholes. Maybe the Blues just run that building. They did win their Stanley Cup there a few years ago.
Yes. But
no, seriously, the Blues 5-1 win was never really in doubt. I want to say it was 2-0 going into the second, 4-0 going into the third. Stifled the Bruins power play. In the second, that was really their only chance of getting some life, getting back into it. It was a really bad performance. I think it was pretty obvious Florida was going to win the Atlantic at this point. Mighty fall for the Bruins, but I don't think it's any doubt at this point. Even though the Bruins are only 1 point back, Panthers have 2 games in hand. Panthers are playing way better hockey. Panthers look like and feel like a way better team. And I know for you, your boys are probably staring down another first-round matchup with this team. And I got to say, it might be the luckiest spot in the Eastern Conference.
So you know what's funny, Andre? That's like a very common right now, a very, very common conversation on Toronto sports radio is who would you rather face, right? Florida, Boston. There was a time, it's looking way less likely now. The Leafs are now 8 points up on Tampa in that wild card spot. But a very popular conversation in Toronto sports radio has been, who would you rather face, Florida, Boston, or the Rangers? And there's a couple people saying Florida, just get it out of the way, just stare down the giant, get it done. A lot of people are saying Boston, including myself. I've said Boston on this show. I would rather play Boston than Florida. I think Florida is the best team in the NHL. They're the most consistent. They've lost 3 games in the last 2.5 months or something, or 2 months. They just don't lose games. They are a phenomenal hockey team. However, the Leafs have lost every game to Boston they played this year, and it hasn't really even been that competitive. So it's yeah, on paper I would rather play Boston, but when you watch the Leafs play Boston, it doesn't really bode well for us. Plus, they just got Pat Maroon, and this is an issue the Leafs have had all year, right? So, stepping up with physicality. So, yeah, I would rather play Boston, but a lot of demons come with that matchup, bro. And it's a good point about the Blues winning. I mean, winning is clearly better than losing. You're still 6 points behind in the wild card. The more and more it does feel like the wild card is what it is in the West, but you keep your playoffs hope alive with a win and hope Nashville or Vegas falls off the face of the earth. All right, bro, let's just dive right into these games, man. Not too many games last night, not too many bad beats to get into. I picked the Islanders, they lost. You picked the Bruins, they lost. It is what it is. It happens. And let's just clean slate. It's a new day, and let's dive right into Tuesday night's games. Starting with Buffalo home to Detroit. Buffalo, now just hear me out, okay? Here are the lines, and then hear me out. Buffalo is minus 122 at home. Detroit plus 102 on the road. The over is 6.5 minus 105. The under is minus 115. Ranger, wow, I'm all over the place. Buffalo, puck line minus 1.5 is plus 195. Plus 1.5 puck line for the Red Wings minus 238. So, Detroit, Buffalo, 65 points right now. If Buffalo beats Detroit, they are at 67 points, and Detroit is at 72. The Islanders don't play tonight. I don't believe the Capitals play tonight. I don't think the Devils play tonight. If you get 2 points, you're 5 points back of a wild card spot. And Buffalo, even though they traded away some key players at the deadline, we've talked about it on this show. Buffalo's been playing some good hockey. Are we? I mean, the hope's alive, right? Probably too little, too late. But you're only 5 games back. How many games have Buffalo played? 65. So after it'll be 66. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I really like the way Buffalo's been playing. I really don't like the way Detroit's been playing. Everything within me wants to take Detroit to bounce back here, plus money on the road. I like the idea of taking Detroit here, but I think I'm gonna have to roll with Buffalo, man. Minus 122, big win against the Oilers on the weekend. They had another big win that is escaping my mind. This Buffalo team's just been playing some really, really good hockey, and I believe in them. Not believe in them like to make a run, but I just trust them to win more than I trust Detroit right now. Alex Lyons has come back down to earth a little bit. I'm taking Buffalo minus 122, and dude, DraftKings took Buffalo off the make the playoffs board. I'm gonna have to find an odd for them to make it to the playoffs because I want to talk about that. But anyway, I'm taking Buffalo minus 122. I'm not touching a total. I'm not touching anything like that. I'm just sticking with the money line. What about you?
I agree with you. Maybe not about them making the playoffs. I do like the chaos theory of it all. But I do think Buffalo has been playing better hockey. Obviously, Larkin's still out for the Red Wings. Not helping anything. They've lost 5 in a row. They're slipping big time. I think they're going to get back on track soon. I mean, they have the Yotes coming back up. Sabres again. Blue Jackets not long after that. The Penguins in between. Like, they have some winnable games coming up. I think they can find their footing. But the Sabres are playing well. I know they had a 3-game losing streak, but the Leafs game went to OT. That was competitive. The Winnipeg game, they were up in the third period. You just can't stop the Jets in the third, apparently. at least not in March. The game before that was the 7-2 Vegas win, I think you were talking about. Then the 3-2 win over Tampa, 2-3 loss to the Panthers. That's a quality loss if such a thing exists. The steal from college football. And the 3-game winning streak, including the Canes. They're playing well. That's the point. They're at home. This Red Wings team without Larkin has looked lost. 2 games where they got shut out. They've capped their goal. Their highest scoring game during their 5-game losing streak was 3. This is a team that before the injury, they were averaging over 3.5 per game. So you expect them to score 4 more than 3 is what I'm trying to say. I'm taking the Sabres. I'm with you. I think they're going to shut down the Detroit offense like everyone has been doing. I think they're going to muster enough to pull this one out. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. So I'm going to take the under. I know you didn't want to touch the total. I like the under in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to take the Sabres to win.
So really quickly, we got a lot of games to get to, but I'm just going to throw this out really quickly, okay? To make the playoffs right now, Tampa, Philly, Detroit, Islanders are all minus money between minus 156 and minus 530, okay? The other 4, Washington plus 600, Pittsburgh plus 800, New Jersey plus 830, Buffalo plus 2,000. Andre, you and I watch a lot of hockey, dude. You're telling me that you believe that Pittsburgh and New Jersey are playing better than Buffalo right now? Buffalo plus 2,000, Pittsburgh plus 800. I know the points percentage. Excuse me. I know the points. I know all that. Buffalo is playing way better hockey than all those teams. So if I have to choose between Washington, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, but take Washington because they're a gong show. Who knows with that? But if I have to pick Pittsburgh, New Jersey, or Buffalo, I have to pick one. I'm picking Buffalo all day, dude. And plus 2,000, like that's a gift to me. If I have to pick one, I'm picking Buffalo. So I found that interesting, dude. For those 2 teams to be that ahead in odds, hey, FanDuel, do what you got to do, man. But I think Buffalo has a better chance than all those teams. So we'll see what happens tonight. And if you want to jump on this crazy train and take Buffalo, do it tonight or like right now. Because if they beat Detroit, those odds are going to change dramatically. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I found it all very, very interesting.
Now you're on to something. Like 100%.
I think I am, man. I think I am. All right, moving on to your boys are in Carolina, second night of a back-to-back. And also, I haven't looked and confirmed myself, but I heard on the radio this morning they have 5 games in 7 nights. That is crazy. I don't remember ever seeing that. I'm sure, obviously, it's happened. Clearly, it's happening now, but I just can't remember. But the Rangers, I know they played on a back-to-back, man, but plus 140 against Carolina. Carolina is minus 166 at home. The over is 6 at plus 105. The under is minus 125. Rangers plus 1.5 on the puck line is minus 185. Minus 1.5 on the puck line for Carolina is plus 154. Andre, we'll give you the floor, man. What do you see in this game tonight?
I see, well, first of all, it's the start of the annual Big East tournament road trip for the Rangers and the Knicks. So love that. I love this time of year. It means sports is heating up. Always gets me excited. Now, what I really see is Igor Shesterkin in net. I know the Rangers played yesterday. I know the Canes are a phenomenal team, got stronger at the trade deadline, skating well. Freddie Anderson's back, goaltending strong, defense is solid, whatever. But Igor's doing his thing. He's in net tonight because Jonathan Quick started yesterday. The defense, even without Jacob Trouba, has been strong for the Rangers lately. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Pretty sure the under is 5.5. If it's not, I think that's a mistake by Vegas. Take the under all the way. I think the highest this ends up being is a 3-1 game, even with how well both offenses can perform on any given night. And I'm backing the blue shirts because of Igor Shesterkin. Huge game. Top guy in net. I think he stands on his head. They all know the stakes. They're ready for it. They can answer the bell in Carolina. And when you go to Riley, when the Rangers go to Riley at least, it sounds like a Rangers home game. That's all I'm saying. So I'm trusting the Rangers to pull this one out.
So I was looking at this morning, man. Rangers 7-2-1 their last 10. Carolina 7-2-1 in their last 10. Power play, Rangers are 6th, Carolina's 3rd. Penalty kill, Rangers 5th, Carolina 3rd. Face-off percentage, Rangers are 5th, Carolina 6th. Goals for, Rangers 9th, Carolina 8th. Goals against, Rangers 4th, Carolina 7th. Like, this is legit, like, right down the middle, at least on paper. Really, really fast. And, I mean, the standings, right? Carolina 84 points, Rangers 88 points, second and first in their division respectively. You mentioned this is a tiebreaker game. Whoever wins this game, if the points are tied at the end of the year, wins this division, right? If I heard you right during the pre-show. So this is a right down the middle, even Steven game. I know that the Rangers played last night. The fact that Carolina is minus 166 is pretty crazy to me. I do think Carolina, they scored a ton of goals on the weekend. They blew the doors off of Calgary. They blew the doors off of, completely blanking here, the Devils. Not blow the doors off the Devils, but they beat the Devils pretty good. I'm leaning Rangers here as well. I don't know if I'm actually going to put my own money on this game though tonight. I feel like this is just so even right down the middle. The 60-minute line for Carolina minus 110. That's pretty much the only play worth playing for Carolina. I don't love their puck line just because, like you said it, Shesterkin, he's come back to his reality and he is playing out of his mind over the last couple months. Yes, Freddie's back playing well. I saw Frederik Andersen in an elevator once when he was playing for Toronto. A funny side note. Doesn't matter. But anyway, for whatever that's worth, if that does something to help your bets, by all means. But I am leaning the Rangers on this. If I was to go Carolina, I'd take the 60-minute line. But I'm probably going to stay away. I'm going to play my stay away card early in this one. This is just even right down the middle, and I just want to enjoy a good hockey game. I find it hard to go one way or the other. I don't think Carolina should be favored by this much, and I don't think the Rangers should be this big of an underdog. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out. Moving on to Columbus in Montreal. Montreal minus 118 favorites. Columbus minus 102. The over is 6.5 minus 115. The under is minus 105. Plus 1.5 on the Blue Jackets puck line is minus 245. Minus 1.5 is plus 200. Much like the Bruins, the only team the Canadians play well against lately is the Maple Leafs. I know they are at home. There is a reason why Columbus is not plus money. The books are not stupid. So while Montreal is favored, Columbus is not plus money, and there's a reason, and I'm taking Columbus minus 102. They had an excellent win against the Oilers of all teams on the weekend. Columbus been playing some sneaky good hockey. My fear with Columbus is they normally play well against good teams, and Montreal is not that. But I am still taking Columbus. Montreal, we've been talking about it all year. Not a good team at home, which is super weird for them. At the Bell Center, 12, 17, and 3 this year at the Bell Center. So, and Columbus on the road, I don't even know what I'm walking into stat-wise. I could take away. Yeah, on the road, Columbus is 10, 15, and 6. So I guess that doesn't matter. But I'm taking Columbus here, minus 102. Not too much to get into. Other than the one thing I will throw out, Cole Caulfield shooting the puck a lot lately. Over 4.5 shots for him is plus 114. I don't hate it. I'd take it. He's shooting the puck a lot. But I do take Columbus to win this game. What about you?
Yeah, you've kind of hit the nail on the head with the Canadians. I mean, since the All-Star break, they're 4-9-2, 4-11. If you're just tracking strict wins and losses, you want to slash that in half and pick, I'll say Valentine's Day as the arbitrary cutoff. Only 2 wins, but 9 losses. They're not playing well at all against anybody, really. I know you said they played the Leafs tough, and they did, I guess. They still lost that game. The Canadians just can't do anything right. And I think Columbus deserves some credit here. They've been feisty lately. 4-4 in their last 8, I believe. And that includes 5 playoff teams, 6 playoff teams, actually. So kudos to them. I don't remember the last time I didn't see Columbus not at plus money. And I think there's a reason they're not plus money tonight, like you said.
Yeah.
Columbus minus 102 here. Minus 102 here. I think this is a win for them. Honestly, comfortably. I wouldn't be afraid of taking their puck line, honestly. I think that's more about Montreal than Columbus, but I'll stick with the minus 102. No need to get greedy with that one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And listen, Montreal, I really like their future. I think that they're doing a really good job. I think Martin St. Louis is a great, great coach. And I'm really excited to see what the future looks like for the Montreal Canadiens. I have my grandmother, rest her soul, was a Habs fan. I got lots of close people in my life who are Habs fans, and usually Leafs would hate the Habs, but I got a soft spot for them, and I am looking forward to their future. No playoff aspirations for this Montreal team this year, right? You're just trying to get your young kids experience, and we'll see what happens. But you know what, man? There's another Canadian team who did have high playoff hopes, and they suck. And I've talked about them all year long. They drive me insane, and that's the Ottawa Senators, and they're home against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are not plus money at home. Pittsburgh has been a tire fire in their own right over the last week or so. Ottawa, minus 105, underdogs at home. Pittsburgh, minus 115. The over is 6.5 at minus 105. The under is minus 115. Pittsburgh minus 1.5 is plus 210. Ottawa minus 258. Listen, both of these teams awful right now. I think Pittsburgh, the game against the Oilers, the game against the Bruins, I believe they allowed 9 goals total and only scored 1. That might not be exactly accurate, but they got their doors blown off on Saturday and Sunday. This team is defeated. They're dejected. The attitudes are not high. But I actually think that they win this game. I like them on the money line. Ottawa is just one of those teams, man. They have 2 solid periods, and the one period that they don't have a solid period, they make mistakes so big that they play themselves out of the game. It happens every single game, all the time. You lose to the Sharks twice. You lose to the Ducks. You lose a really close game in overtime to the Kings. But you just can't beat anybody right now, and I don't think you're going to beat Pittsburgh. As much as it's been a real tough downfall to watch for the Pittsburgh Penguins, we did their eulogy on the show yesterday. Sidney Crosby is still a competitor. Those players still work hard. A little homecoming for Erik Karlsson. I don't know if that matters, but I do like Pittsburgh to win this game tonight. If for no other reason than goaltending. I have said this exact sentence a million times on this show. Ottawa cannot get a save to save their lives. And so when I don't know who to pick, I look at the goaltending, and clearly that edge goes to Pittsburgh. So give me Pittsburgh minus 115. No need to get crazy. The 60-minute line is plus 135. So if you're feeling extra risky, then go for it. But I think minus 115 is more than good enough for me to take the Penguins. What about you?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Senators lost seven in a row. Only one of those games went to OT. So if you like the Penguins, I understand that 60-minute line, especially with the better odds. But you mentioned goal scoring, and there's been a big lack of that for the Penguins during the last three games. Only one total goal. They got shut out twice. Obviously, Gensel's gone. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
And if you want to stretch it to 5 games, there's another 1-goal performance in there. Really, just 5 goals against Columbus. It has been their entire offense in March. I don't trust the team to score, and they've given up 15 goals in their last 3 games. You might be saying Edmonton was one of those teams. That was a low-scoring game. Boston has been struggling lately, put up 5. The Washington Capitals, future Stanley Cup champions, put up 6 with their incredible offense. That's really not the league. My point being, can't trust anybody in this game, but winning requires scoring goals. The Senators, for all of their faults and flaws, have been scoring goals this season. They have a more reliable offense than Pittsburgh. They have all year. They do right now, even though they've been kind of cold as well. And this is in the Tire Center, where the Senators, believe it or not, have a winning record. So I'm going to roll with Ottawa here. And I'm going to take the under because both offenses are struggling.
Interesting. Yeah, you make some really good points. I think the thing that's like really bumming me out about Ottawa, and I've lamented about this team all year long, but I look at the points. There are 3 teams in this league, 4, who have less points than the Ottawa Senators. And that's Columbus, that's Anaheim, that's San Jose, that's Chicago. It's just like, and you look at their team, they got a good team, man. It's just, I'm with you, dude. I just can't get there, man. They're just so frustrating.
Broken you.
Oh, they have. No, you're 100% right, man. They have broken me. You're 100% right. Well, one of those teams that does have less points than the Ottawa Senators is the San Jose Sharks. And they are in the Tortorella-less home Philadelphia Flyers, Tortorella-less for the next 2 games, which, by the way, side note, the more I think about that, I was going to talk about this yesterday, but we already we did talk about it a little bit yesterday, but the more I think about this, the more the fact that he got suspended for 2 games is so stupid. Like, the more I think about it, like, he got fined $50K, like, I don't know. It seems stupid to me. And the refs, like, where's the accountability for the refs? I don't know. We can talk about this another day, but the more I think about it, the more I think it's dumb. But the Sharks, play the Philadelphia Flyers in Philadelphia with Torts, without Torts. It doesn't matter. Philly is a minus 325 favorite at home, and that number has changed to minus 340. Plus 270 now are the Sharks on the road. The over is 6 at minus 112. The under is minus 108. Sharks plus 1.5 is plus 105. Flyers minus 1.5 is minus 125. What do you see in this game?
I came in here prepared to say that Dallas warped my perception of the Sharks, but then I just kept looking at their road games, and their last road loss by multiple goals was January 15th against the Sabres. They got shut out, lost 3-0. And then even then, the two before that, 4-5 loss in Ottawa, 3-2 win in Montreal. Looking after that Sabres loss, 1-goal loss in Chicago, beat the Kings in LA, beat the Ducks in Anaheim, 1-goal loss to the Jets, 3-goal win in Calgary, 1-goal loss in Dallas, 1-goal loss in Minnesota. Are they traveling well, or are these teams just not getting up? That's the question of the day. I'm taking that plus 1.5 and plus 105, though. I've seen it enough times. They have a streak going of not losing by multiple goals on the road. They won their last game. They've been fighting all season, which kudos to them. It's really tough to go through what they went through, especially earlier in the year, and then still bring it every single night. I'm trusting them. The Flyers, they're weaker offensively, have no power play to speak of. It's really just strength of goaltending that's willed them this far. Goaltending in a PK that carries the offense, apparently. So looking at this game, I feel like the Sharks can realistically keep the Flyers to 3 goals, 2 goals, whatever. That's not a lot of wiggle room to win by multiple goals. That's basically no wiggle room.
Yep.
I'm going to take the Sharks plus 1.5 here in a low-scoring game. I like the under 6, which I also think is plus odds. No, it's minus 108 now. And I like the plus 1.5 and plus 105. And just before I pass to you real quick, November 7th, 2023, Sharks beat the Flyers 2-1.
So you make some excellent points. I would agree with you if Saturday did not happen. I would agree with you. I know that Torres is not behind the bench tonight. However, you lose 7-0. It was 4-0 against Tampa Bay at the end of the first period. Like 7-0 was not a gradual throughout the game. Like it was 4-0 in a blink of an eye. You got destroyed by Tampa Bay on Saturday. Torts gets kicked out of the game. That whole thing, we have talked about it. I know he's not behind the bench tonight, but this Philadelphia team, man, I think they love them some John Tortorella. I think that they have embodied him on the ice this year, and I believe they're going to come out guns a-blazing tonight. They're at home, embarrassing night on Saturday. I think that's enough for them to get the minus 1.5. And I don't like betting the minus 1.5 because it's minus 125. But I just really do think that Saturday night was embarrassing on 1,000 different levels. And I think that's enough for Philly to come out guns a-blazing and get the job done against San Jose. And your points being made about the plus 1.5, I think, are absolutely valid. I just think Saturday was such an embarrassing day that this team is just going to come out and not let the Sharks stick around. I that's just how I feel about it. And that's my gut, and I'm going with it minus 1.5, minus 125. My gut is not telling me to get crazier than that. I'm not going 2.5. I'm not doing anything nuts. I'll bite the bullet, pay the juice, minus 125 for minus 1.5.
Yeah, just you bring up a good point. I thought about the effects of Saturday, or the outcome, the consequences. I didn't really think about the process and the fact. Yeah, they lost 7-0. Like you got to bounce back from that, especially in a playoff hunt. So I kind of overlooked that. It's a really good point.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I called this team a lock to make the playoffs a couple weeks ago. Well, you look now, and they're not at all. Like they're still going to be fighting for at least the next few weeks, maybe right up until the playoffs start. And doesn't it feel like the playoffs start like next week? Like we still have like almost 6 weeks left of hockey before the playoffs start. Like there's still a long time before we get there. So we'll see what happens. Moving on to potentially the game of the night and potentially a playoff. Where is it here? Oh, here it is. Potentially a Stanley Cup preview. I don't think any of us would be surprised if this was the Stanley Cup Finals. Florida in Dallas. Dallas minus this line is fascinating to me. I thought for sure it was going to be Florida plus money, and I was going to jump all over it. But it's Dallas minus 112, Florida minus 108, minus 1.5 for Dallas is plus 215. Florida plus 1.5 is minus 265. The over is 6 at minus 110, and the under is also minus 110. Short and sweet for me here. I am fascinated to see this game. I feel like Dallas, they have these weird games, man, where against good teams, they can get up and they can like beat them down. They beat the Jets 4-1 recently, right? And then they barely win 7-6 against the Sharks. Like you just don't know what this Dallas team is going to do some nights. I picked Florida to win this game, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. For me, it's the goaltending. I just think Bobrovsky, like he has had just such an incredible season, especially 2024. He's playing out of his mind. And Ottinger, let's just call it what it is, man. He's a very good goalie. I don't think that this is about him as a goaltender, but this year, let's kind of call it what it is. He's been okay. He has not been incredible. I'm just looking here. I mean, 2.95 goals against, pretty good. 900 save percentage is okay. I just feel like Bobrovsky's playing so much better than Ottinger this year as a whole, and that's enough for me to take Florida minus 108 to win this game. I'm really, really fast. I think the goaltending matchup is what I'm the most fascinated about because both these teams can score. I would say Dallas, I mean, you look at the goals for, Dallas is second in the league. Florida is 10th. We've talked about this at length about Dallas. It feels like they're scoring 4 or 5 goals almost every night. So what's the goaltending situation for the Panthers going to look like? I'm really curious to see this matchup, and I can't wait to see it. And I'm glad it's on a little bit later. Not too much later, but a little bit later. To enjoy the first period or two of the other games before this one. So I'm taking Florida minus 108. No crazy props from me. I've talked about this with Dallas. Their props are untrustworthy. But I am rolling with the Panthers on the road here, minus 108. What about you?
Yeah, fascinating game. Stars, 5-game win streak. Panthers, they've won 17 of their last 20. Best record in the league. Both division leaders. Incredible matchup. And I'm going to back the Dallas Stars on home ice. I know. The Panthers, they allow the fewest goals per game. I get it. The Stars offense, just under 4 goals per game at home. to kind of get overshadowed by their division mates in Colorado. But 3.94 goals per game, incredible stuff on their home ice. You saw what they did to the Jets. That's another fantastic goaltending team. Light work. I think the Stars offense is, you can pencil them in for 3 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, whatever. The Panthers can play that game. I think they will play that game. It's going to be tight. We're climbing uphill against Dallas, getting thrown off just a little bit, knowing that, hey, they're actually scoring on us. The Florida isn't used to giving up goals like that. I think it's going to mess with them a little bit. The Panthers are playing incredibly. This is probably the best odds you're going to get for them for the rest of the year, if we're being honest here.
Probably. Yeah, good point.
But I don't think they're going to win. To your point, though, Jake Ottinger, since the injury, since he came back, has not been himself. He has not played nearly as well as he was beforehand. And that's why I like the over a lot in this game. I like the over more than anything. It's only at 6 now. The Panthers are going to score 3 goals at least, you would think, with the way that Stars, the Stars at home, honestly, are giving up more goals. So they're .883 save percentage at least. They've allowed more goals at home than on the road. They've played more road games. Doing the math right now, it looks like they're giving up 3.3 goals per game at home this year. Panthers, top 10 scoring team. They just added Cinco. He's fit in seamlessly. Panthers, 3+ goals. Lock it in. Stars, I'd said, just under 4 goals per game at home. They've been 3+ during this winning streak. They're pretty much 3+ every night, regardless of who they play. Pencil them in for 3. That's 6 right there. Somebody has to win. That's a 4th goal. That's a 7th goal for the game. The over, for me, is the best play from this one, regardless of who wins.
Yeah, really, really interesting. Good points by you all around. So the next 2 games, we'll fly through. The last 2 games, I think, are incredibly juicy, but really, really quickly. I know I'm going backwards here to the Philly San Jose game, but we are friends. We are coworkers. You are a Giants fan. I'm an Eagles fan. And I think we're forgetting about the Saquon Barkley bump here, bro.
Oh.
I think that, man, I bet you there are Barkley jerseys in the stands tonight. I guarantee it. I haven't made fun of you yet since this trade or since the signing broke yesterday. So I had to just throw it in there real quickly. I think the Barkley signing trickles down all sports in Philadelphia. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Love you, but let's go. All right. Now that I got this way, Arizona is in Minnesota. Although you got Brian Burns yesterday, man. I don't know. Like, one thing doesn't have anything to do with the other, but that's a pretty big trade, dude.
Yeah, him and Dexy are going to eat Saquon next time I see him. So it's all good.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. Arizona is in Minnesota. Minnesota minus 198 favorites at home, plus 164 are the Coyotes on the road. Minus 1.5 puck line, plus 124 for the Wild. Minus 148 is the plus 1.5 puck line for the Coyotes. The over is 6 at minus 125. The under is plus 105. Minnesota Wild 60-minute line. I like them to win this game. I don't like the minus 1.5. I don't like the money line, but I do think, you can talk me into a minus 1.5. You can. Yeah, it's been tough for the Coyotes over the last little bit. I don't know who's playing in net for Arizona tonight, but either way, it has not been great. I do think Minnesota can win this game by 2 or more goals, but I also think, listen, Minnesota hasn't been the most consistent team lately either. Any hope that they have for the playoffs, they have to win almost every game from here on out. Very little wiggle room for them being as far back as they are. I like them 60 minutes minus 125. And that's what I got on this game. How about you?
Yeah, I trust the puck. Well, first of all, DK is not giving me an option for the under, which is interesting. There is an over though. I do I trust the puck line here. I think it's going to be a multi-goal win. I'll try to make it brief. The Wild entered the All-Star break 21-23-5. They're now 31-27-7. They had one losing streak, but for the most part, they've been playing well. They've been avoiding multiple losses. In Sunday's game against the Predators, pulling the goalie in OT showed a sense of urgency. They understand what's at stake. They know they have to pile up these wins. It's now or never. I like that a lot from them. It shows a focus. It shows a determination that I really enjoy. And since the All-Star break, they have a 3-1 win in Tempe and a 5-2 win in Tempe. So they've taken care of business against the Oats, who have been god-awful lately. I mean, we know it. They were 23-20-3 heading into January. They're 26-34-5 now. Garbage. They just got blown out by the Blackhawks, and they were up 2-0 in that game, lost by 3. They gave up 7 to the lowest scoring team in the league. God-awful performance. I'm taking the Wild minus 1.5 here. I trust it big time. Since I don't have an under, I'm not going to touch the total because I just can't see the odds for it. And I know the over is minus 125 at over 6. I wasn't too heavy on that anyway. So I'm just going to stick with the puck line and keep it moving.
I will say on this side of the border, the under is plus 105 right now. So that's what you're getting for that under. And I 100% agree with you that pulling the goalie move on the weekend, especially now that we know that if you lose that game, you don't get a point. Like that shows some urgency, and they got the job done. So we'll see what that means for the rest of their season. Okay, moving on to Anaheim and Chicago. In Chicago, the lottery bowl, pretty much whoever these two teams fighting for the lottery. Chicago is now minus 115. Some Chicago money is coming in minus 115. The Ducks are minus 105. The over is 6 at minus 102. The under is minus 118. And so this is interesting. Chicago is favored in this game, but the puck line for me here is minus 1.5 for the Ducks at plus 220. Plus 1.5 for the Blackhawks is minus 270. As far as the side goes, I don't really. I'll probably lean Ducks here. I know Chicago had an insane game against the Coyotes on the weekend, but we just talked about the Coyotes and what they have been for the last few months. I like the Ducks money line here. You can talk me into plus 140 60-minute line. Plus 220 on the puck line is very tempting. This Anaheim team can score when they want to, but I'm not going to get too crazy with this game, man. Both these two teams are awful. I think I can go 60-minute line plus 140 for the Ducks. I think that's enough for me. The money line makes the most sense, but I can probably dabble in a little 60-minute line. Why not? What I will say is on the Anaheim side, Vetrano is pretty much the whole offense. Minus 150 for him to get over 2.5 shots. They do not have the alternate shots on DraftKings yet, but when they do, look out for the 4+ shots. I like him getting a lot of shots tonight, so keep a lookout for the 4+ shots. For Bedard to score plus 140, he got a couple the other night. For Vetrano to score, he's plus 180. He's been scoring lately as well. That's what I got for this game. What about you, Andre? What do you see here? Juggernauts tonight. 2 juggernauts.
Massive matchup. Decides the future of the entire league. And I see two struggling offenses. Blackhawks obviously low scoring offense in the league. Outside of their 7-goal game against the Yotes and their 5-goal game against the Yotes a few days prior, 2 goals or less consistently lately. Anaheim, last 4 games, 1 goal, 2 goal, 2 goals, 1 goal, not scoring at all. I think they used all their goals on the Sharks and the Devils on that fake day of the year and then March 1st. So I'm taking the under in this one. And to back up that under and my money line pick, the Blackhawks beat the Ducks 1-0 in United Center earlier this season. I think the Blackhawks win this game again, simply because I've seen them win more recently. Connor Bedard is talented. They've won 8 of the last 10 against the Ducks. One of Anaheim's 2 wins came in OT. They're going to have a chance in this when we talk about the Blackhawks at home being a tough out, no matter who you are. I'm buying into it. I'm trusting it. Give me Chicago money line in a low scoring game.
Absolutely love it. Moving on to Colorado in Calgary. Pretty fun game. I'm actually pretty excited for this game. Aside from that awful game against Carolina on the weekend, Calgary's been playing pretty well. They are plus 145. Let me just get updated odds here. They are now plus 150. Some Colorado money coming in. Calgary plus 150 at home. Minus 180 are the Avalanche on the road. Minus 1.5 for Colorado is plus 136. Plus 1.5 for the Flames is minus 162. The over is 6.5 at minus 110, and the under is the same. Andre, what do you see at the Saddle Dome for this game tonight?
Yeah, that back-to-back this weekend for the Flames. Yeah. 5-goal loss on Sunday, 4-goal loss on Saturday, both on the road. And I will say for this Flames team, as well as they've played in 2024, when they've lost, it's come in bunches. 2 in a row, early, like very beginning of the year, 4 in a row, not long after that, 3 in a row, not long after that. Now they've lost their last 2. They're facing one of the most talented teams in the NHL. I know the Avs can be weird, especially on the road, but the talent's undeniable. They're playing for something. They're in a very tight race for that Central Division crown. You speak a lot about how important it is to win the division as opposed to, a first round against the Jets or the Stars.
Big time.
So looking at what the Avs have done, they've won 5 of 6. 4 of those wins were by multiple goals. They're playing pretty good hockey. I mean, one of those wins was against the Stars. I think that's the most impressive, a 5-1 win there. They have a 3-1 win against Vancouver in later February. They're playing pretty well. I'm going to trust them. I'm going to back them. They have, obviously, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, 3 of the best scorers in the NHL. It's hard to move away from that on any given night. The Flames power play doesn't really do anything, can't take advantage of Colorado's PK, even though Colorado has a solid PK, or a good PK, actually. I'm going to take the Avs minus 1.5, and I'm going to take the over because I trust that offense to put up at least 5 goals. Calgary's not going to score fewer than 2 at home, you would think.
Yeah. I don't know. This game for me, I'm going a couple of different directions in this one. I think Colorado has played one game since the trade deadline. They made a lot of moves, right? They destroyed Detroit, destroyed Chicago twice with a Nashville loss in the middle of those Chicago wins. Really, really gutsy win against Minnesota on Friday night. Calgary, they have traded a lot of their big pieces, I know, but that's been pretty gradual, right? They traded Hannafin on Thursday night, but they traded Lindholm a while ago, Monahan a while ago. Like they've been trading these, or Monahan? Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. They've been trading their players kind of gradually. No, sorry, Tanev a little while ago. So they've been trading these players kind of gradually, and they're still, before the weekend, they were 6-2 in their last 8. And those 2 losses against Carolina and Florida, 2 very good teams, were beyond embarrassing. And for me, I really do feel like Colorado, they made a lot of big moves. They added a lot of big pieces. And I feel like it's going to take some time for them to, and I know that their big boys are all still there, and I know this team's still very, very good, and I think they're gonna do fine. And I could even see Colorado over the last few weeks finishing this season out, winning the division. But I do think it's going to take some time to get these new bodies acclimated to this team. And I just think Calgary's a good team, man. I think they're a good team. I don't know what they should have done, if they should have traded these players, if they should have kept them, or what they should have done. But they're still fighting. And I know it's a long shot, but they're still fighting for the playoffs despite trading the majority of their best players. I like this Calgary team tonight at home to pull off an upset. I really do. Plus 150. I just think this Colorado team's made some big changes. Might take a while. We've seen this, man. We saw it with the Leafs last year, with the Rangers last year, with the Bruins last year. We've seen this many times. And I think we are going to see it with Colorado as well. And I think Calgary, this team plays with pride. They play very hard, and they got embarrassed twice on the weekend. And I just think that they're back home and they're going to play a better game. As much as Colorado's goaltending has bounced back over the last couple weeks, I mean, Jacob Markstrom, he's had a tough few games here, but I think he bounces back and plays very well tonight. And I think Calgary wins. I might also be so bold to say, and again, I feel like Calgary loves overtime. We just saw Colorado go to overtime on Friday. I feel like we're going to overtime tonight, man. And it's plus 340 for a draw tonight. And I think I like it. We're going to overtime, tied 3-3. We're taking the over at minus 110. And I kind of like the draw, dude. I think that's kind of where I'm leaning. I might like a draw more than a side. I just really feel like it's going to be a really, really gutsy game, and I feel like we're going to overtime. So chalk me up for Flames money line, draw, and over 6.5.
Love the call.
Shooting my shot, man. I'm calling my shot, or whatever the saying is. All right, last game of the night. Vegas is in Seattle. Seattle plus 124, underdogs at home. Vegas minus 148. Minus 1.5 is the puck line for Vegas at plus 170. Plus 1.5 is the puck line for the Kraken at minus 205. The over is 6 at plus 102, and the under is minus 122. Kraken, 67 points. Vegas, 75 points. Much like the Flames, much like the Wild, playoff hopes for the Kraken. Not super alive and well, but they're still within distance. And Vegas at 75 points. The Blues won last night. Vegas got to keep winning, man. Talk about a team that added a lot at the deadline. Vegas basically got a new team. And so what is going to happen with Vegas adding Hanifin and Mantha? I'm not sure if Hurdle, there's been rumors of him being activated tonight. I don't know if that is factual or not, but either way, I think, I don't know. Now that I say it, I don't like the money line. I don't like the puck line. If I'm taking Vegas, I'm taking the 60-minute line. But I might stay away from this one, man. Something's telling me Seattle's going to sneak out there with a win. I don't know. What do you think about it? Oh, the one thing I do know, Marshall So is going to score. That I do know. He has scored. If memory serves me correct, this might be a little wrong, so fact check me. But if memory serves me correct, Marshall So has scored 19 goals in his last 21 games, which is pretty good. So I like Marshall So plus 155 to score a goal tonight. Andre, go ahead, man. What do you see here?
You said you like the Kraken. I don't disagree a bit. I mean, I know Vegas won their last game. That was against the Red Wings, who also don't think highly of right now. And before that, they were struggling against everybody. I don't think very highly of this Vegas team right now. I think they're still going to make the playoffs. I don't think there's enough time for them to fall into a true collapse. But they're not playing well. And I think the Kraken are playing better, especially defensively. They haven't allowed more than 3 goals, and I want to say 7 straight. It's off the top of my head. I'm not sure if that's the right number. I think on home ice, the Kraken are going to take down the Golden Knights. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. But I'm right there with you. Vegas went to Seattle January 1st, got shut out, 3-0 loss. I'm not saying they get shut out again because Marshall So is going to score. But I don't see him scoring more than 2 goals in this game. And I think the Kraken are good for at least 3 or 4 with the way Vegas has given up goals these days. So taking the Kraken plus 124 for sure. You're not crazy for thinking that.
Well, tomorrow night, there's only 4 games. So if Vegas loses tonight, I want to book it in right now. I want to talk about Vegas because this experiment is super, super, super fascinating to me. Like, just all these players that they added, all big names. Like you said, I don't think there's enough time for these other teams to catch them. But the fact that it's still in play that they might miss the playoffs. And I'm just super fascinated by this. This is going to be a good game tonight to finish off the evening. All right. That's it. Let's move on to our best bets, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. With the promo code Sports Addict, you get 10% off whatever sports card your heart desires. Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, boxing. It doesn't matter. First Round Collectibles has it. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today and find your heroes. Use promo code Sports Addict for 10% off. They still have sales items up to 50% off with our promo code. Not only do you get 10% off of regular price items, but sales items as well. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Promo code Sports Addict, 10% off. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. Andre, let's start with you, man. Lots to choose from. It's a buffet in the NHL tonight. What is your best bet?
Yeah, we need a win big time. And when you need a win, you tend to go to the Florida Panthers. And I'm not taking them on the money line, though. I'm taking the over in that game. More specifically, the over 6.5. The standard total is 6, minus 110. We don't play for pushes here. Are you kidding me? Not when over 6.5, functionally the same if you want to make money, is plus 105. So I'm taking it. I'm locking it in. Stars, scoring on everybody. Average almost 4 goals per game at home. I understand what the Florida Panthers are defensively, but I don't think they have enough to slow down this Stars team that scored 4 on them in Sunrise in December. As for the Panthers, they won that game by scoring 5 goals. We talked about how Ottinger hasn't been as strong since coming back from injury. Talked about how their save percentage at home is .883. They give up more goals per game at home, 3 and change. Panthers going to score 3+, probably 4, over 6.5, plus 105. Bag it, tag it. I'm sending it to you.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So listen, I've said on the show many times that I do not like taking my team as a best bet. And my team's not playing tonight, so clearly I'm not taking them as a best bet. But I think as uncomfortable as taking my team as a best bet is taking the Buffalo Sabres as a best bet. And I've been watching, and I really like the way they are playing. And I really don't like the way that Detroit is playing. And I think Buffalo wins this game. I don't know. I'm looking at the board tonight, and I really do think that Buffalo wins this game tonight. Give me Buffalo minus 125, paying some juice. If you want, I won't fault you for taking the 60-minute line at plus 110. I won't fault you for that at all. But I am going to stick with just the standard money line at minus 125. So a couple minus plays for you and me tonight. Or is the over 6.5 plus? Either way, you'll let me know in a minute. It is plus. So yeah, Buffalo minus 125. I know it's a bit expensive, but I really like this Buffalo team tonight, man. This might be my favorite bet of the night, and it's definitely my best bet.
Buffalo is a best bet. I love it. Got to touch every team this season. And I think that's knocking it out. Buffalo Sabres money line at home against the struggling Detroit Red Wings is minus 125. Good value. The over 6.5 total goals in Panthers at Dallas Stars. It is an alternate total, so you will have to go into the game and find it, but it's plus 105. Parlayed together, 2 legs, plus 269. Not bad.
Absolutely love it. Look at us go, eh?
Yeah.
Look at us go. Although it's a tough start to the week last night in the best bets, but that's why you got to watch the whole show, man. We're throwing out winners. We're just not always picking them as our best bet. It's a fine line, but I don't know. By next year, we'll get it dialed in. But everybody, as always, thank you so much for joining us. Seeing viewers going up since the trade deadline. So we really appreciate all you guys. Total Apex Sports, shout out to you guys. Thank you for having us. First round collectibles, promo code Sports Addict for 10% off whatever sports card you want. Good luck on your bets, and we will see you tomorrow.
Go hard.